Shalom. Praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakar, Kudash. Double honors unto the elder apostles of great Muslim who rule well. And Shalom to the whole full elect. This is Paya Allah. Um, Title of this video will be determined upon upload. But what I want to delve into is basically us being refined through the word. Alright? And through that refinement, it's gonna come through the baptism of Yahushai. Alright, we know that when John the Baptist was on the scene, he was baptizing by way of water as a sign of things to come. And he spoke to the point of Yahushua coming and baptizing with fire. Right, and right now we're in the furnace of affliction, but we're heading into, the time, the hour of temptation, the time of Jacob's trouble, which is where the heat's gonna be turned up to the max. All right, leading into that MOTB and things of that nature. Um, World War Three. Um, you know, so with that being the case, that's really going to be a proven pot, likened onto Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or Mishael, Hananiah, Azariah, being put into the oven, right, on full blast, and having this Yahushua basically cover them in that time, which serves as a very good um metaphor as the time that we're in, because ultimately that fire is gonna, you know, it'll be for purging rather than for affliction, like it was to the two that were um, proving the flame, or making the flame come up as hot as it is. So I've got a couple precepts, Lord willing, you be edified. So that this is Psalms 119 and 19. It reads, "Thou puttest away all the wicked of the earth like dross. Therefore I love thy testimonies." Right. So the Heavenly Father putteth away all the wicked of the earth like dross. So this shows you how what our Heavenly Father is like unto. All right. So in this time that we're in, it tells you, in Job 9 and 24, that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, if not, wherever new is he. So we're presently in a wicked time. All right. And that wicked time was prophesied of in the book of Revelation, all right, where it spoke of the beast being unleashed for a season. All right, and we're presently in that season, as you could tell. That's why in Malachi, that's why in Malachi, the first chapter, it basically speaks about um, Malachi, the first chapter, speaks about Edom saying he'll come back and rebuild because he says that he's impoverished. And we're in that time. So this stands to happen. All right. I'll read it again. Thou puttest away all the wicked of the earth like dross. All right. Dross is likened unto the dregs. Um, I forgot the word, how to describe it, but it's like you know, the, you have, it's the undesirable parts. All right. Best way to put it. Therefore, I love thy testimonies. Right. So, where if, using reverse engineering, we understand that if this is being said by, I believe, David, I'm not too sure who the author of this is, but the point is, this being said, the love of the testimonies, we know the testimony, the testimony of Yahushua, the spirit of prophecy, these prophecies, the law, statutes, and commandments. All right. We understand that this is, you know, that is righteous. We understand anything outside the realms of this is wickedness. All right. And that's why it even speaks to the point in the book of Proverbs. It speaks about burning lips and a wicked heart. Um, Basically, is likened unto a potsherd covered in silver dross. So the burning lips is like smooth words. All right. So someone's saying unto you smooth words, but it's coming from a place of of evil is likened unto having a pot that's made out of clay. All right, it's of no value. All right, and this is what this time is likened unto. That's why you what's going to happen is those that don't love the testimonies, they're likened unto those in Isaiah 30, where it tells you, um, that they basically don't want to hear the words of the Heavenly Father, but they say, "Speak unto us smooth things, prophesy unto us even unto us lies." They want to be lied to. They want to be, fed sweet nothings. That's all they want to hear. All right, but in doing so, that's going to be to their detriment. All right, let's build upon this by going to the book of Isaiah 1, 24, 25. Sorry. Isaiah. It says, "And I will turn my hand upon thee, and purely purge away thy dross, and take away all thy tin." Right, because in this time that we're in, right, the Heavenly Father is gathering his elect. And the first, you can look at this in two ways as far as procurement of the elect. All right. The first thing is that all have fallen short of the glory of the Most High. Right, we all were Gentiles carried away by dumb idols. So that dross of the world, that semblance of worldliness has been purged away from us, right? But then you also have those that are still under that, and there's no shaking of it because they're part of the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, or the wicked Israelites. Isaiah 1 and 25, "And I will turn away, and I will turn my hand upon thee, and purely purge away thy dross, and take away all thy tin," all right? The worthlessness. "I will restore thy judges as at the first," right? Because in the same book of Isaiah, it talks about, undoing of the kingdom, the Israelites as a people, basically being, brought down to a no people, all right, losing the captains and the king, the priesthood, so on and so forth. But the Heavenly Father that said he will restore that hierarchy once again. So I read again verse 26, "And I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city." So that's New Jerusalem, all right, coming down from heaven. That tells you in Revelation 14, verse 27, "Zion shall be redeemed." All right, Zion to Zion, all right, the memorial of the Heavenly Father will be redeemed with judgment, and her comforts with righteousness. All right. The destruction of the transgressors and the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake the Lord Yahweh shall be consumed. And this is the time that we're heading into. All right. It's the time we're presently in, as far as the Heavenly Father is, setting the table. All right, as far as for these judgments to be established upon the earth. Right. But he has to do away with the dross. All right, those that don't love the testimonies of Yahweh Shai. So I go to this. This is Proverbs 25, 4 and 5. It says, "Take away the dross from the silver, there shall come forth a vessel for the final." Right? So in order for this to be done, there's a process that needs to be set in place. All right. The Most High prophesied of the book of Isaiah 13 that will make a man more finer than a wedge of Ophir. Basically making it Ophir, the wedge of Ophir, speaking about gold from Ophir, how it's premier. It's the chief of all forms of gold out there. All right. And an elect man is going to be likened unto one of, wedge of Ophir. So I'll read again. "Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the final." All right. So once you purge away the dross, and he make, come forth a vessel for the final. All right. It'll make it, you know, a pure unadulterated, unwatered down form of silver. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. And that's what it's likened unto. All right, like I mentioned, elect is going to be likened unto that. But the process, in order for that to happen, it tells you in the book of Sirach, the second chapter, what has to, the process of it all. You have to go through, going back to that baptism, all right, you have to go through the furnace of affliction, whereby you go through the purging process of dealing with this word. Because how you go through that purging process is basically fast, holding fast to this word. This world, as we know, is in a wicked time. So the rules and regulations, or the way you get on in this life, is by wickedness. So ultimately, what I'm saying is, you're being tested every day, because you have to hold to true to your hold true to your principles, morality, as far as with this truth. You have to walk a straight walk. Excuse me. You have to walk a straight walk. All right. Now, walking that straight walk is hard, because obviously the world that we live in isn't geared towards that. So now you're going to be tempted to go to the left or the right, as far as, you know, do this because this is more favorable in this world, do that. But in walking forward in the correct manner, that's part of you purging yourself of the trust of this world. Things you would have done before, where a woman would, be with another man's woman. The idea to commit adultery will not be, something that you'd be, looking to do. So, a woman coming your way and having a man, that's a temptation unto you in the form of adultery. All right. So these are the things. That's one example. And guess what? That test is going to continue up until the time of deliverance. All right. And that's where it's going to be shown and manifest who were the chosen in that day. Because ultimately, you're going to be pulled literally through the fire. All right. When the bombs drop on America. All right. When this world is destroyed, that's the ultimate last passing of the fire that's going to determine whether or not you are of the elect. Because ultimately, you're going to be changed in that fire, either by way of painful, excruciating death, going into the heavens, the spiritual realm, or by being pulled up and turned into the twinkling of a change of an eye into a spiritual being, an elect being, the Heavenly Father, all right, whereby you watch the destruction of America, the wall of fire, going from sweeping from one side to the other, all right. So I'll read this again to close out. Verse 4: Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the final. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. And ultimately, in this process being done, it's removing the wicked from within your inward parts to only be becoming part of the elect and be, a joint heir with Yahweh Shai, but then ultimately as well, that's going to sweep and take away all of the wicked and allow the king to establish his righteousness, his throne, the kingdom of heaven. As it tells you in the book of Revelation, the 19th chapter, Yahweh Shai is coming back with many crowns. All right, take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. So with that, I pray you edify to the next one. I'll say, Shalom.